Good afternoon. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins, and today is January 27th, and we're here for our weekly briefing to talk through different things that are happening around Westchester County. Today we're going to be joined with our municipal partner, the mayor from the village of Tarrytown, Karen Brown. Then we'll talk through, and we're going to get a chance to see our Deputy County Executive, Richard Whitney. We'll follow that up and talk about our VITA program with the Executive Director from our Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board, Tom Kleiner. We'll then have a few conversations a little bit later on talking about all the parks and things happening around Westchester County. Certainly it's that time of year. We'll talk about the things coming up in our special election, as well as talking for a few minutes about what's happening at Playland. But first, we're going to kick off by talking with our great friend from the village of Tarrytown, Mayor Karen Brown. The village of Tarrytown nestled right next to the Mario M. Cuomo Bridge with some beautiful things and beautiful sights, a great opportunity to walk along the riverfront, things happening right along the things there, and there's so many fantastic opportunities. The village is about 13,000 people, and there's, again, great things happening in the village of Tarrytown. So with that, let me turn over to my good friend, Mayor Karen Brown from the village of Tarrytown.
Thank you so much, Ken. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. When they asked me to come speak, I thought, January, what's going on in January? And I sat down with my village administrator, and turns out we have 3 pages of things going on in the village of Tarrytown, but I will not go through them all. I'll just say that winter brings some great new opportunities to the village of Tarrytown. Our wonderful Farmers Market, Tash, moves from Patriots Park indoors into the John Paulding School, which is right across the street from Patriots Park, and it's indoors every other Saturday until they open up again in Memorial Day. We always have wonderful restaurants where you can get some great winter drinks and meals. Some of the ones that come to mind are River Market and the Sail House, which are on the west side of the bridge right by the river. On Main Street, we have Basque, and we have Mint and Picnic and Bistro 12, just some of the wonderful restaurants, My Tokyo. Any kind of food that you like from all around the world, you will find it on Main Street, Tarrytown. A little bit further up North Broadway, we have our wonderful restaurant Horse Feathers for great American bistro, and on the south end of town we have more feathers. We have Goose Feathers, which is at the Tarrytown House Hotel, and that is a wonderful fantastic cuisine that has won awards, and I invite you all to visit that. Winter brings really cold weather, and the good thing about that is some winters it freezes our lake, and right now there is skating on the Tarrytown Lake, and everybody is welcome to come. It costs $20 for 9 residents for a badge for the entire season. I can't promise how many times that will be, but it is certainly a Norman Rockwell experience to be skating on a lake among the trees. It really is special, and I invite you to check it out. It is when the winter is very cold, like it has been in the past couple of months, so please call ahead to see if it's open. Once the warm weather starts to roll in, we kick off the season with a great parade, our St. Patrick's Day parade that starts in the village of Tarrytown and ends in our sister village in Sleepy Hollow. And it is a wonderful way to kick off the spring, and we invite you all to come visit that. We also have a wonderful Mother's Day event. We close Main Street for a brunch on Mother's Day and have activities for the entire family. This will be the 3rd year we're having it, and it has become a very popular event, and I invite you all to that. We're working on a bunch of different projects to make a life safer and to make walking a better experience throughout our village. And right now, the villages of Tarrytown and Sleepy Hollow, along with our school district, are going through the Safe Streets for All program, where we're looking at our entire network and trying to make the streets more accessible to children riding their bikes and walking to school. And when the spring comes along, you'll see some changes in our traffic patterns, we hope. We are breaking ground on a new park called Lagana Park. It's out the south end of town. It's been fields that have been in really bad shape for quite some time, and we're very excited to turn it into, we're going to be getting outdoor pickleball courts for those of you who love the sport, and revamping the fields and the playground. So that'll be, we hope to break ground this spring. In the spring, we're going to be starting a new program called Project Mover, which they started last spring in the village of Ossining, and that's going to be e-bikes that are much like the city bike program in the city. There'll be several locations throughout the two villages, Sleepy Hollow and Tarrytown, so people will be able to use bikes for short trips instead of getting in their cars, and that's another step we're taking to try to make our streets more pedestrian-friendly and bike-friendly. And finally, we're improving our senior center thanks to funding from the the county's CBDG consortium and Andrea Stewart, and a grant from Andrea Stewart Cousins and the Climate Smart Communities. So we're upgrading our facilities. So any season, please come and visit us in Tarrytown. As County Executive said, we're right by the shared use path of the bridge, and there's all different kinds of views to see. You can see eagles, bald eagles this time of year from the bridge. So it's a special thing to do on a not quite so cold day. So I wish everybody a warm and fruitful winter, and we'll see you in the spring. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So the village of Tarrytown has some tremendous opportunities, especially going along that shared pathway when you're right under the bridge, and there is no prettier sight than when you have sunset, looking over across the Hudson River, looking over across to our friends in Rockland County to see those great things that are happening. Obviously, lots of things to do on Main Street, not just the restaurants themselves, the wonderful Tarrytown Music Hall, and certainly Tarrytown Music Hall, and certainly some good friends in our jazz club that's also right around the corner from the Tarrytown Music Hall, and some fantastic eating opportunities, but also a great place to just walk around and see the great things that are happening in Tarrytown. Congratulations on the programs that are going on, doing that investment in the park on the south end of Tarrytown, and there's just so many wonderful, wonderful things happening in the village of Tarrytown. Another one of the great opportunities as you go around our county. Switching up, we want to make sure that everyone recognizes that today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. So today we remember the lives lost during the Holocaust and honor the survivors who courageously shared their stories. International Holocaust Remembrance Day reminds us of the devastating consequences of hatred and the importance of standing up against bigotry and intolerance. Let us recommit ourselves to ensuring that this never happens again. Together, we can create a future where past horrors are never repeated and human dignity is upheld for all. So again, today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. We're going to want to make sure at this time to bring up a good friend for us, the Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board Executive Director, Tom Kleiner, and he's going to come up and he's going to talk to us about the annual volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program initiative that's kicking off right now, and that's a good friend of ours. Tom Kleiner, come on up, Tom.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Thanks to the county executive, and congratulations publicly on your appointment. It's really an honor to continue to work with you in this new role. The Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board and its career centers partner with businesses and educational institutions to provide job matching and training to residents of Westchester and Putnam counties. Our main career centers are located in White Plains and Putnam, with ancillary centers in Peekskill and Carmel in Putnam County. VITA is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. It provides free tax preparation assistance to Westchester residents who qualify, those of low and moderate income, and those with disabilities, veterans, and senior citizens. Last year, in 2024, the program generated $1.8 million in federal tax refunds and $600,000 in EITC earned income tax credits for 1,750 Westchester residents. Between February 3rd and February 15th, our tax sites will be ramping up in 9 convenient locations around the county, including 2 at Mercy University locations, Westchester Community College in Valhalla, and our career centers in Mount Vernon and in White Plains. And taxpayers have the flexibility to choose daytime, evening, and weekend hours for their appointments. So to schedule an appointment, you do so by calling 211 starting on Monday, February 3rd. 211 staff will verify the eligibility and confirm your appointment. Dedicated tax preparation volunteers, some of whom have been volunteering for years, will be available to assist you once you arrive. In fact, the high school students in Mount Vernon High School and the college students, business majors in Mercy University provide some of that service. They're some of our best volunteers. This year, County Exec, we're also working with Rockland County to help them set up their first VITA site at the Finkelstein Library in Spring Valley, an example of excellent intermunicipal cooperation. So finally, we at the Career Center know it's hard to look for a job if income is tight and you're dealing with all-consuming day-to-day challenges. What this program does is to allow residents to get the tax refunds they deserve, get a little extra money in their pockets, and support Westchester County businesses and its economy at the same time. And by the way, in Mount Vernon, as you know, we've partnered with the City of Mount Vernon to create the first financial empowerment initiative with dedicated staff who assist residents in Mount Vernon and throughout Westchester with financial literacy and financial advice. Call 211 for your appointment starting next Monday, February 3rd. And if you want more information on the Career Center, you can contact me directly at tkliner@westchestercountyny.gov, TKLEINER at westchestercountyny.gov, or at 914-995-3707. Thank you so much. Thank you, County Exec.
Thank you. We want to, again, thank you, Tom Kleiner, and certainly a new initiative that's down in Rockland County, County Executive Ed Day over across the river. But this is a great and fantastic program that did in 2024, as the Executive Director, Tom Kleiner, did mention, preparing 1,750 returns and securing over $1.8 million in those federal refunds. And also, more importantly, also engaging over 119 volunteers. And that's the greatest part of this program for the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. And again, the centers that we have in Mount Vernon and in White Plains, and a great partnership with our friend down in Mount Vernon, the mayor of the city of Mount Vernon, Sean Patterson Howard, at the Mount Vernon facility, which is doing a financial literacy program, which is so critically important to so many people. With that, let's turn over to the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wisney.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. As you should all know, we're going to have a very important election on February 11th. The purpose of this special election is to vote for a person, a winner of that election, will carry out the balance of the year of the former county executive, George Latimer. So that person will serve again through December 31st. We'd like to share with you that there is an opportunity for early voting, and that means starting as early as February 1st through Sunday, February 9th. You can go early and vote instead of waiting till February 11th at your convenience. And I'd like to just give you some detailed information about the locations of where and the times that you can vote. On Saturday, February 1st and Sunday, February 2nd, you can vote at the special locations that we're going to tell you about in a moment from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday following those days, from 8 to 4, those polls will be open. And on Tuesday, February 4th, from noon to 8. Thursday, February 6th, will be the same time from noon to 8. And then the final days will be on Saturday, February 8th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and again on Sunday, February 9th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, I'm going to give you, at this moment, the early voting locations, and we'll repeat this in the days ahead so that you know where you can go and vote locally. On Croton-on-Hudson will be the Croton Municipal Building. In Eastchester, the Eastchester Public Library. In Harrison, St. Gregory, the Great Church. Hastings-on-Hudson, the Hastings-on-Hudson Public Library. In Rybrook, the Rybrook Firehouse. In Somers, the Somers Townhouse. In Valhalla, the Mount Pleasant Community Center. In White Plains, the Greenberg Town Hall, as well as the Westchester County Board of Elections, and that's in White Plains. There's 2 locations. Again, Greenberg Town Hall, the Westchester County Board of Elections. And in Yonkers, the Grinton I Will Library and the Nodine Hill Community Center, as well as the Riverfront Library. So that's 3 locations in Yonkers. And in Yorktown Heights, the Jefferson Village Annex, the Yorktown Cultural Center, and in case you need more information about these details, you can contact the Westchester County Board of Elections to confirm these locations, and the number there is 914-995-5700, or you can go online and visit citizenparticipation.westchestergov.com. And Mr. County Executive, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. D.C. Sure. All right. At this time, I'm going to ask our county attorney, John Nona, to join me. As we have seen in the news recently, that there's been lots of discussion about Playland and the things that are happening in Playland. I want to take some time in a second to go through some really important information on how where we are right now. Back in 2016, the Astorino administration entered into a public-private partnership where Westchester County and Standard Amusements would each invest approximately $30 million each. So $30 million from Standard Amusements, $30 million from the people of Westchester. In 2018, when we all came into office under County Executive and now Congressman George Latimer, the John Nona and our Director of Operations, Joe McDonald, went through those $30 million of initial investments that the county was supposed to be making and identified that that was really $125 million worth of investment that the county would have to do for those projects from 2016. We went through some different stages along the way to challenge those numbers, and went to bankruptcy court is where we ended up. We tried to terminate the agreement at that point in time in 2019, and moving forward. And where we are now is with a contract that was entered into 2021 and began really in 2022. So we all understand where we are right now, where first, that we're planning on making sure Playland will be open for the 2025 season. So that's the plan. We're planning to open the park for the 2025 season. We are in the early stages of what will be likely a very complex legal battle, and we want to make sure that everyone understands that we have cross claims and things that have to happen, but it's a process, and those things have to happen, and it'll take some time to do. Late in 2024, Standard Amusements indicated that they wanted to have a conversation about potentially terminating the agreement and negotiating a settlement. Those conversations were had, but nothing came over that, and Standard Amusements served a letter to Westchester County on January 21st, 2025, indicating that they wanted to terminate the agreement for cause, and then the following day, on January 22nd, 2025, the County of Westchester set an indication to Standard Amusements that they were indeed in breach of the agreement. The bottom line of this is simple. Standard Amusements was losing money at the Playland Amusement Park, and now at this particular point in time, there's claims against the county trying to blame the county for their failures. Westchester County has invested over $144 million, close to $150 million into the capital projects in Playland. There's no question about the investments that have been made. Everyone tells us those improvements make the park look beautiful, and we're going to keep moving forward. But again, this was a public-private partnership crafted by the Astorino administration, which required reimbursement of Standard Amusements investment in the park. So it's a public-private partnership, and the county is obliged to pay that back. Repayment of the initial investment was stipulated in the contracts. It's important to emphasize that the original contract established under the Astorino administration required the county to repay all of Standard's investments, including travel, food, and every expense related to raising the $30 million to invest in the park without any restrictions. Thankfully, we were able to renegotiate and implement a cap, and we negotiated controls on those reimbursements, avoiding even a greater potential financial burden. This all started with this deal from 2016, and while we were able to renegotiate it to a slightly less terrible one, we ultimately were blocked from walking away entirely, thanks to the bankruptcy court. And some folks know that the bankruptcy court was the one that granted our friends who ran Purdue Pharma, the Stackler family, immunity for accountability over the opioid epidemic, and they also sided with Standard Amusements in this particular scenario. So we continue to work as far as we can on behalf of the people of Westchester County to make sure that the Westchester County taxpayers are protected. And at this moment in time, again, there's a complex legal process that goes on, but the bottom line for us is that we're planning on making sure that Playland Amusement Parks moves forward in 2025. It is a park. That means it is still open to the public, and there's things that have to happen through that, and there's some constraints on anything that's out there. So again, be careful about all the information you may see out there. The only information that you need to understand that it is a park, and we're going to continue to make sure that it is open and available for our county residents as we go through this challenging and complex legal process. So again, for nearly 100 years, the people of Westchester have cherished Playland since 2018, and the county has made every effort to make sure that to ensure this beloved park thrives for future generations. And again, $150 million of Westchester taxpayers' money that was invested. And that was because over several years, over many, many years, that the investments were not made to the level that they needed to be made. But we have made sure that those investments have been made on behalf of the people of Westchester for our park, Playland Park. So thanks a lot, John. All right. And at this time, we're going to ask our Deputy County Executive to come back up to talk some more about what's happening in our nationally accredited award-winning park system.
Thank you, Ken. You took the words right out of my mouth. I appreciate that. We do have an awards-winning Parks Department, and they do a great job all year long. And to continue through the winter, there are several programs that you should be aware of. On Tuesday, they will continue the Westchester, in the Westchester and White Plains, a mall walk, and that is a very popular opportunity for folks to get out of the weather and continue their exercise. That'll be on Tuesday, January 28th. Also, that same day, on Tuesday the 28th, we have the 75th Annual Westchester County Cheerleading Invitational. That takes place from 5 p.m. to 9:30 and will continue on the following day until they have a winner. And on Wednesday, January 29th, at Lasden Park, there will be the Lunar Prince for Lunar New Year from 2 p.m. to 3:30. Children ages 5 and older can learn about the Chinese cultural tradition of making prints to express their hopes, wishes, and dreams for the year ahead. You'll be introduced to basic printmaking concepts and make your own set of prints, and there'll be a cost of $20 to participate in that. Same day, Marshlands Conservancy in Rye, we have birding for beginners. And following that, at the Lenware Preserve in Yonkers, we have a Community Science Watch. That Climate Watch begins at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and community members can participate in conservation research projects. And then at Hilltop Hanover Farm, on the same day, Old Time Music Jam from 11:30 to 3 p.m. This is a monthly gathering of local acoustic musicians who play traditional Appalachian fiddle music. You can come and play or just listen and enjoy the music. Also on Alfred Del Bello Muscoot Farm, we have the Sugar Shack Chats from 12 to 3. And on Sunday, February 2nd, also at the Del Bello Muscoot Farm, we have Groundhog Day, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we have a very famous chicken, Henrietta, who's going to help us plan whether or not the winter weather will continue or we'll have an early spring. So we welcome everyone to participate in those activities. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Richard. Again, there's so many things happening in Westchester County, and make sure to take advantage of those in our nationally accredited award-winning park system, making sure they sign up for that e-newsletter to see all the great things that are happening. And we know that we have both up in Croton, we have Eagle Fest. That's this weekend as well. So take advantage of what Mayor Karen Brown said, that you can also see them right from Tarrytown. But for Eagle Fest, make sure that you get a chance to take family up there. The wonderful T-Town folks do a great job for doing those presentations and a lot of things to do. There's so many things that are happening in Westchester County. I want to thank our municipal guest today, the Village of Tarrytown Mayor Karen Brown. We want to make sure that thank Tom Kleiner for giving us that information on the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. That's a free volunteer program that happens in so many different locations, in 9 locations around Westchester County. Take advantage and take a look at those opportunities to make sure that you get every dollar that you're entitled to. And those folks do a great job as volunteers to do that. We certainly had our great friend and the county attorney, John Nona, here with us as we talked about what's happening in Playland and understanding for the investments Westchester County made, the $150 million that we have invested in Playland, and we are planning on opening the park in 2025. And finally, we want to make sure to remind everyone once again that we have today, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, to make sure that we're recommitting ourselves to ensuring that this never happens again, and making sure that together that we can ensure and create a future where the past horrors are never repeated and human dignity is upheld for all. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.